Excuse me, could you point me in the direction of ScreamCity? Never mind, I think I found it.
Hello, horror freaks. Welcome back to ScreamCity. I'm your host, Jessica.
And I'm Monica. And in today's episode, we will be talking about a classic summer film, I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yes, and not Shawn Mendes' song.
Is that a Shawn Mendes song?
Yes, bro.
No, it's not.
Bro, what do you think I was singing last episode? I know what you did last summer. Look me in the eyes, my lover. I think that's how the lyrics go, but.
That's what you were singing.
Yes, bro.
It's a Shawn Mendes song.
Yes.
I was not aware.
Actually,
I think I know that song.
Yeah.
I went through a little Shawn Mendes phase for a minute, and
Same.
then I got over it within like a month.
Yeah. Anyway.
Hope he's doing well.
Before we continue on with the movie, let's get our peek and pit out of the way. So, Monica, what has been your peek and pit of these past few days?
My peak is that I don't have a lot of peaks this week.
Okay. I mean, to be fair, we saw each other one day ago.
That is very true. We saw each other literally 2 days ago.
Yeah.
My pit.
Oh.
I don't have one either.
Okay.
I'm not,
it's
nothing
crazy has happened and exactly.
Dame un poco de tiempo and I'll give you something next week.
Yeah, for sure. We'll definitely have something next week.
100%. I don't have a pick or beat this for these past literally day and a half. So
okay, sure.
Moving on. What about yours?
My peak is that I'm here. I'm thriving.
I'm alive.
I'm alive.
Yeah.
Whatever. My cat is cute. I love her.
Yeah.
My pit is that I work today.
That's always going to be a pit.
That's always going to be a pit.
Until someone is going to step up and care for me financially,
right.
Working will always be my pit.
100%. Yeah. And I'm working overnight, so.
Anyway. That's a good luck to you.
Thank you.
I
appreciate you.
All right. That was pretty quick. So we're going to go ahead and go into the movie. So like we mentioned in every episode, there will be spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, we will be spoiling this movie. We have my roommate in the room today, and she's never seen this movie, so she's getting a firsthand.
Yeah. She's basically
spoiler alert. Right. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and give you a brief summary of the movie, which is coming straight from Google. So, a year after running over a fisherman and dumping his body in the water, 4 friends reconvene when Julie receives a frightening letter telling her that their crime was seen.
Damn.
Imagine.
That's crazy.
I
can't imagine because I've never been through that.
Yeah, so, exactly.
But anyway, now that we have that out of the way, Monica, what was your first impression watching this film for the first time, and what would you say is your favorite scene and kill?
Thank you so much for asking.
Yes, ma'am.
My first impression, so I remember watching this around the same time that I watched Scary Movie for the first time, because I remember asking, what other movie are they making fun of? So I knew that Scream was one of the parodies that they were combining, but I can also tell that they were taking parts from another movie, and I couldn't tell what it was. And then I discovered I Know What You Did Last Summer, and then I watched it, and then I watched it more and more, and I appreciate it as a film now. This film is actually very comforting, and I have to watch it at least once every summer. It's such a vibe. The cast, the small town during summer, that vibe. It's kind of like Hallmarky.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. And then I mentioned the cast. Yeah.
Yeah.
The cast is...
Oh, 100... Oh, the cast
I have to mention it at least 3 times. But yeah, everything about this movie is really good. My favorite scene, I love when Helen's hair gets chopped off. And, she's giving a stop playing, boy, you know that I'm known for the bob.
Oh, my God.
Because she pulls it off so well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's technically not really a bob. It's more of like a shoulder cut.
Right.
But that was pretty short.
Still giving...
It was very short. He
did
her wrong.
100%.
He did her real wrong.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad. But I loved it because, I mean, it is true that, even right before that happened, her sister came into her room the night before and was like, you and your hair, that's all you care about. And she's like, uh-uh. I really thought that he snuck in there to kill her, but... I guess he overheard the conversation of her and her sister. And
he was like, let me
you know what's going to fuck you up more?
Yeah.
Not me killing you. you having to chop off your hair.
I don't know what's worse. Someone killing me or someone chopping my hair off.
Imagine if someone just came into your room and just I
think that's more evil.
Like, they didn't even give you a fucked up haircut with, like, random scissors. They literally shaved off, like, a slice of your hair, like, to skin.
Yeah.
And you just had, like, a bald piece.
Yeah.
Like, how do you go? What do you do from that? You can't. And it was, like, straight down the middle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how do you come back from that? You die.
Yeah. I'd kill myself.
I'd be like, just kill me.
Yeah.
That would have been so much easier.
Exactly.
Which is why he went the route that he did. But so along with, like, my favorite kill, I'm gonna have to go with Elsa's, which is Helen's sister.
Yes.
I hated her throughout the film. She was a bitch.
She was annoying.
I'm going to have to go. I know you like satisfying kills, and I feel like hers was a satisfying one for me.
It was
more so because she made me so angry with how slow she was opening the door for her sister when her sister was in so much of a panic to come inside, and that bitch was just taking her time. She was just like, girl, I'm coming. And then she goes back, grabs the keys, then she goes and opens the door. And I'm like, bro, you're too fucking slow. It pissed me off. And then I liked whenever she went downstairs to, like, lock the basement door, but he was already inside by then. So then he kills her. And then I like the scene that we get of him dragging her on the hook.
Yeah.
And he's just, like, carrying her.
That's
and I'm
pretty
like,
funny. I like that.
Yeah.
Very
like,
satisfying.
You dumb bitch. That's what you get.
100%.
Being so goddamn slow. So those are my 3.
Love that.
Yeah. What about yours?
First impression, I watched this for the first time a few years ago with my sister. I remember a lot of things regarding my first impression. Okay. First is I literally know every single person in this cast. AKA, what is Daphne and Fred doing here? As well as Sebastian from Cruel Intentions, because I remember watching that.
Right.
And then, of course, I also remember thinking that all the fits were kind of cute, especially Julie's.
Yes, I love their outfits.
Like, that woman, Jennifer Love Hewitt, is serving body.
She was serving body.
Body.
Yes, ma'am.
But overall, I did like it. I thought the killer looked a little bit like the hash-slinging slasher from SpongeBob.
Absolutely. I wonder if... Did that episode come out?
I think that episode came out.
I think it came out after.
A little bit after.
I like how pop culture kind of reinvents itself, and they just do a cycle.
I love it. But yeah, and but overall, I enjoyed it, and I did find it, like, you know, pretty spooky sometimes.
I mean, a man chasing you with the hook is that's pretty scary.
It is pretty scary.
You know, I'd be running.
I mean, I enjoyed it. You know,
it's a good one.
So yeah. My favorite scene, okay, unpopular opinion, but I feel like I can name a lot of my least favorite scenes.
Okay.
Because a lot of people annoyed me in this movie.
Yeah.
But we would be here a hot second, so I'll talk about them later. Okay. My favorite scene, I'm actually tied between 2. I thought Barry getting ran over by his own car was so funny.
It was really funny.
And also extremely dramatic. Like, that man got thrown through a literal wall. Right?
Yeah.
So... At
first, he was all big and bad about
right.
chasing after the person in his car.
Right.
And his car. And then he quickly realized, like, oh.
Shit.
They want to kill me.
Right.
And then they just... Yeah.
And then second, I know this is a bit of another basic scene, but I just love... Not basic, but, like, iconic scenes. But the one where Julie had just found the crabs in her car, and she brings Barry and Helen out to see it, and they're just magically gone. And she goes onto the street, and she says... What are you waiting for, huh? And I don't know why, but it's just so funny. Like, the way that she spins, like, we get an overview of the spin. I don't know why. I just thought that was so funny. And fun fact, actually, I was watching an interview from Jennifer Love Hewitt, and apparently a random kid won a contest to go on the set of the movie and create a scene.
The fuck?
And he created that one, aka one of the most iconic scenes from this movie. So that's pretty cool.
Okay.
But yeah, in her interview, she was like that the kid said that he wants Julie to go into the street and yell, "What are you waiting for, huh?" And just, like, spin around.
Are you serious?
I'm not even kidding.
That is
I'll show you the interview.
funny.
But yeah, it's...
Oh my gosh, that is hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the... I mean, it even made it into the Scary Movie, like, parody. And Cindy in the movie, for Scary Movie, she's wearing the same thing that Jennifer Love Hewitt is wearing in this movie. And I think it's so funny because the parody is that, like, she's doing it in front of the school. Like, what are you waiting for? And the camera follows her from above and is, like, circling. But then the principal's, like, on the building, like, trying to KMS or KHS. And then he just jumps and it's like, so she's like, oops.
Love that.
But yeah, I think that's so funny. I do like that scene too. It did make me angry though, how like she just left the trunk open.
Exactly.
And then she ran out halfway through the street, and then she comes back and closes it. I'm like, the car that passed by, they could have easily seen the dead body in your trunk.
So I'm telling you,
there was a lot of things in this movie where I was like,
that annoyed me.
But we wouldn't have a horror movie if people weren't thinking.
Yeah.
So, okay. What about favorite kill?
My favorite kill. So this isn't my favorite kill, but I did love the scene of Helen's death while the parade was going on in the background.
Yeah.
I love those scenes so much where like Trick or Treat and Scream 6.
Yes.
Where they're basically in an alleyway. Like any kill that happens in an alleyway.
Like
I'm a
they're
sucker
literally
for it.
being killed, but
there's people.
Because it's like hiding in plain sight.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I liked hers. I thought it literally reminded me of Trick or Treat. But anyway.
It's a good one.
Yeah, I liked it. But I think my favorite kill would probably have to go to Max.
Yes.
Just because that was pretty brutal.
Yeah.
I liked him under his, like, in his jaw, and then
it's pretty gross.
Dragged him.
Yeah.
Over some bins. Like, that was...
I loved it.
Insane.
I thought it was really good. So I guess, finishing that, let's go ahead and discuss some of our favorite moments and some things that we actually enjoyed about the movie. Yeah. Do you have any favorite moments?
Yeah, I have a few.
I have a couple.
I do remember when I first watched this movie, that the setting gave me huge Aquamarine vibes.
The setting?
Yes. Like,
I'm telling you, it's something about being like in a small town.
In a dock,
especially specifically in the summer.
Yes.
And I was watching this movie with Gina last night, and she was like, what is there to do? And then I was like, you either serve. No, I'm just kidding. You either serve at a seafood restaurant, or you catch the seafood for the seafood restaurant. Those are your two options. Or you can work at a boutique.
Or you run people over.
Yeah.
And then you
get away with murder.
You get away with murder.
Yeah. I like that.
I love that.
But I understand. Yeah. The vibes, the epitome. I feel like we could have saved this movie for 4th of July, because there's specifically, it takes
place on 4th of July.
On 4th of July. So it would have made a lot more sense. But here we are. Here we are explaining it now. But I love it. It's a really good horror summer movie. If you've never seen it, definitely give it a shot. Specifically in the summer. It will give you all the vibes.
Yes.
And the spookiness of it.
It's like, if you want, you can watch this movie first. But, okay, so, like, if you want to stay on, like, the beach and summer theme.
Yeah.
You can watch this movie first. And then you can watch Aquamarine afterwards.
It's like Aquamarine and Scream had a baby.
Exactly.
And I love it.
100%.
Included with murder.
Right.
What murders? But yeah.
Real quick, the way that the police considered the guy who they ran over, his death an accidental drowning, like, are they not going to question the fact that he probably fractured a lot of bones because he was hit by a car?
Yeah.
And all the blood? Like,
seriously.
I'm so confused. Anyway.
And I'm like, if they would have done an autopsy, which I don't know if they automatically do an autopsy for the people that they find. But I'm like, don't they find a cause of death? Well, I guess he didn't die. Oh, wait. Who are you talking about? Are you talking about the first guy?
Yes.
Like the guy that actually died?
Okay, so
Okay, so we're getting the storyline.
Okay, so what's her name? Julie.
Yes.
Was like, I've been doing some research. And the guy that they found, oh my God, was it David? No.
Yes. No. Oh, I forget.
Maybe it was the first guy.
Hold on. Ben Willis
is the first guy.
Is the hook man.
Okay. David is the guy on the cliff.
Yes. The one that died. So David did a hit and run.
And killed
that girl.
The girl, the daughter of...
Susie.
Yeah.
Of Ben.
Yes.
So then Ben...
Ben...
kills...
David.
Yes. That's the one that they find in the lake.
Oh.
The kids
run over Ben.
And they tried to throw him in the lake, but he survived.
Yeah, which, that's a whole other thing. Like,
yes.
Barry literally saw his eyes open.
Yeah, and he, like, grabbed him. It was so funny, though, I will say. So, something that I didn't really put together in my head, and I saw it as, like, oh my god, this girl. And I was going to name it as my favorite scene, but then I was like, it kind of takes away of the fact of, like, my thought process of it. When Barry, whenever he comes back alive and, like, jumps at Helen. Mm-hmm. And takes her crown. Oh, yeah. And so she's like, he took my crown. It was giving me, my diamond earrings fell in the ocean.
Kim, there's
yes, and it was so funny. And then I was like, oh my god, get you a man like Barry who will dive in after a dead man who just grabbed your crown from winning a pageant. Right? And then I was like, he goes in there, he grabs it, and then he, like, pushes it. But then it's so funny because then when he comes back aboard, he, like, chunks it at her, like, take your fucking crown. Mm-hmm. And then Gina was like, well, no, because then they would have been evidence if they find him. Right. And I was like, I didn't think about that. Yeah. I just thought she was being a drama queen. Yeah. I thought she was just being like, my crown.
But Barry annoyed me so much.
Oh, Barry was such an asshole.
So annoying. But he was lacked common sense and honestly brain cells as well.
Absolutely.
Like, sir, why would you run up on someone? Like, okay, I understand that they're wearing the same thing as the person who's harassing you, but so are like 50 other people at this little... Oh my god,
he didn't even give him a sorry.
At this little event or anything.
Yeah.
So, he probably gave that old man a heart attack.
Absolutely. He probably did die. Mm-hmm. But, and that's what Gina said too. She was like, no sorry, no nothing, no my bad. I thought you were someone else. Like, exactly. Nothing. He really was such an asshole.
I'm glad he died.
Yes, I'm also glad he died. But he's so handsome.
He is pretty handsome.
I love Ryan Phillippe.
He was the LOML.
Lommel.
During Cruel Intentions.
Oh my god.
I watched that movie a little way too young.
Him in Cruel Intentions. Chef's kiss. That we need to cover that movie. I know it's not horror. But the things that movie does to me.
You can consider it like
that movie, like the cast, or something. The vibes, the music. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, that movie is like the epitome of what the 90s was.
Yes. Amazing. Oh my god.
There's just something. That's the type of... I wouldn't try to fix him. If anything, I'd fuck him up more.
Okay.
Mentally.
All right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, moving on.
Okay, another thing. Okay, I feel like all of this is just like complaints, but I swear I do like the movie. What were some of like
your scenes that you did not like?
There were a few, but yeah, like starting with like Barry, like jumping that man, like that 80-year-old man.
Very upsetty spaghetti.
And then I hated the scene when they were at the pageant or whatever, and Helen sees Ben right behind Barry, and she starts yelling. She's like, oh my god, like, blah, blah, blah. Why the fuck is the crowd holding her back? Like, what the fuck do they gain from that? Number one. Number two, why are they not looking up and, you know, like, do they think she's crazy? Like,
yeah, that's why I was all like, she's literally saying that she sees someone being killed, and the first reaction was like, what?
Their first reaction is to hold her back.
And they're like, no, don't let her go.
Fuck?
Yeah, it was pretty small. Also, I don't know if you noticed, but then whenever the crowd actually let her through and the cop took her, they were just walking. They were walking, and then I was like, if y'all don't pick up the pace, bro, I was like, this man is dead.
They were pissing me off.
He's a goner. He's dead and gone.
Mm-hmm.
Dead and gone. Dead and gone. I kind of like how the little moment that we get of like, Freddie Prinze Jr., he's behind it, but he wasn't. The little like...
I will say...
The realization.
Right. I will say they did get me there.
I know. When I first watched it, I was like... I was like, that makes so much sense. I was like, not it being Freddie.
Right.
But it wasn't.
It wasn't.
And I was like, it can't be, because he's in the second one.
Right.
I've never seen the second one, by the way.
I don't think I have.
I've never seen the second. There's apparently a third one. Never seen it. Never seen it. And the title for the second one is I Still Know What You Did Last
I know.
And I'm like, okay.
Like, okay, damn.
Sure. There's also something, Ryan Phillippe knows how to play such a good asshole. Mm-hmm. Because I've seen him in a different movie. It's like him and his brother, and they're, it's called, they're like in the military, and they basically go AWOL. Something, I forgot what it's called. I'm sure somebody will know. And he kind of plays a bit of an asshole in that movie too, and he just does it so well.
He kind of just has the face for it.
He kind of
has the face for it.
He has the face for drama.
Is it the second? Breach?
No.
American Murderer?
No.
54?
No.
Big Sky?
Something drafted, overdrafted.
Flags of Our Fathers?
No.
Crash? Collide?
No.
He's on Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
I will say the way he looks now, he's older, so he kind of filled up a little bit more. He's not as thin, and he's still so cute. He's still fine.
I did find him really attractive during Cruel Intentions because I think that was the first movie I watched of him.
Same, me too.
Of his, yeah. And yes, he is attractive, but I feel like he would be so mean to me.
Oh, absolutely. Well, that's what I mean. I'm
Yeah.
like, I wouldn't try to be like, I can fix you.
Yeah.
And be like, no, let's be toxic.
Yeah,
let's be toxic to one
together.
another. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Anyway, either way, he does that really well. And then Freddie Prinze Jr. has like this really good.
He's so charismatic.
Yes, and I feel like he puts that into his characters, and I think he does really well.
It's the Latino in him.
You're lying,
bro.
I feel like we've discussed this.
We have probably discussed
this. And
I
forget every time.
Yes.
What part?
Like
half?
Yeah, his dad is.
Oh.
He even made a whole video. I forgot what it was, but he's like very proud to be Latino.
Oh.
Yes, and we love him for that.
I don't think I was aware of that one.
Yeah. He embraces his partial Latino ancestry, as his paternal grandmother was Puerto Rican, and is fluent in Spanish.
Oh my gosh.
I love him.
That is so cute.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, I know, right?
I love that.
Latino representation.
Latino representation.
All right. Anyway, now to get a little bit into the cast, which we basically already kind of went through this.
We kind of went through.
Again, I think y'all all know what we're gonna say. We love this cast. Absolutely iconic. We have the epitome of what late 90s and / like early 2000s actors and actresses, you know, who they were.
Yeah.
So of course we have Sarah Michelle Gellar as Helen Shivers, Freddie Prinze Jr. as Ray
Benson.
Okay. Jennifer Love Hewitt as Julie James, Ryan Phillippe, right?
Ryan Phillippe.
Yeah, as Barry William Cox, Muse Watson as Ben Willis, Johnny Galecki as Max Nurick, Bridget Wilson as Elsa Shivers, and of course, many more people. Mm-hmm. And may I just add that it was a very busy year for my girl Sarah Michelle Gellar.
It really was.
Number one, Buffy the Vampire Slayer had just been released months prior to this movie's release. Mm-hmm. And she also made us, of course, an iconic appearance on Scream 2. So this woman was booked and busy.
Yep.
And can I just say, I love how Sarah and Freddie are in movies together. I don't know why, but it always makes me so happy when actors and actresses appear in the same movie as their partner. Like Melissa McCarthy with Ben Falcone and Adam Sandler with Jackie, and of course Emily Blunt and John Krasinski in The Quiet Place.
Yep.
It just makes my heart so happy.
I love it.
But yeah, Freddie Prinze Jr. was rocking that dark hair. He looked good.
He does look good in dark hair.
He sure did.
I love that.
But now to get a little bit into some facts. Again, this is coming straight from the internet. So if anything is wrong, don't come for us.
The accuracy is not there.
The accuracy is not there. So, you know, do with that what you will. So, anyway. Okay, despite being part of the main cast and appearing in many key scenes together, the characters Helen and Ray, aka Sarah and Freddie, only speak to each other twice. Despite the fact that the two barely interact on screen, Gellar and Prince became good friends after meeting on this film. They later fell in love and married. Just thought that was
we just thought we'd throw that.
Yeah, we just got through that.
Yeah, we just got through with that one, but it's a good one.
It is a good one.
And when we cover Scooby Doo, because we will, we're gonna mention the exact same fact
100%.
again.
100%.
Be like, did y'all know they were married?
Because heck, a lot of people probably don't know.
Honestly, it's true. 100%.
Yeah. So anyway, the ice inside the storage of the boat was actually made of gelatin, so Jennifer Love Hewitt could comfortably move around inside.
And you can tell. I don't know if we were watching that scene and I was like, you could tell that shit's fake.
Yeah.
They could have tried a little harder.
And the blood was fake too. Hella fake.
You can tell.
Hella fake.
It was very gooey. Like, it wasn't...
Well, because it wasn't who was it? Like, the FX makeup artist, I think, in an interview said that he wanted to use as little amount of blood as possible. So either, I think he said, and I could be wrong, but I think he said that everything was digital.
Oh,
like the blood was digital.
Okay.
Like when he kills, is it Elsa?
Okay.
Yeah, because blood appears on the window.
Oh, yes.
Anyway, that blood was fake. Number one, it looks fake as fuck. Number
Yeah.
two, it is fake as fuck.
Yeah. I was going to say, and then, like, the bodies that they had that she uncovers in the pit of ice, you can tell are fake. And they are so fake that I was like, who is that? Who's that supposed to be? Yeah. And then Gina was like, I think that's supposed to be Sarah Michelle Gellar. And I was like, what the hell? And then they show another body in there and she was like, I think that one's supposed to be Barry or Max. I don't really know which one.
This last one says Kevin Williamson wrote the script before he wrote Scream 1996, but was unable to sell it. I wonder why. Following the big screen success of his next screenplay, aka Scream, and Scream 2, Columbia Pictures immediately bought I Know What You Did Last Summer, 1997. This is the reason why many critics and fans felt this was a huge step down from his more clever and innovative Scream scripts. Oh, that sucks.
That does suck.
That sucks, dude.
That means that he
was
then I Know What You Did Last Summer is actually the original.
Yeah.
And then Scream just happened to come out of that. Like, so this is why they're so similar.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I don't hate it.
I don't hate it.
But that does suck.
But, I honestly do think it... I mean, whatever. This was a million years ago.
It is what it is.
But, yeah, I obviously think, I understand why he wasn't able to sell it. No offense.
I will say, I mean, it's a pretty typical plot line.
Yeah, it is. Nothing too crazy.
Honestly, I think what helps this movie a lot and what makes it, like, what gives it the rating that it does and why it does so well, I think it's because of the cast.
100%.
Yeah. Because I was going to say, I feel like people saw this, especially that cast, and was like, I want to be in a movie like Scream.
Right.
I want to be the next Drew Barrymore.
Right.
Being on screen for 10 minutes. Not even. Like 5. And
Dude,
then be the poster.
I would literally cry.
Yeah, it does suck. That's pretty upsetting. But, I mean, good for him. I mean, but listen, Scream did fantastically well.
Yeah.
So.
And hey,
a win's a win.
A
win's a win.
A win's a win.
Yeah.
And, you live and you learn. Okay? He wrote a really bad script. And then he went on to write an even better script.
That's true.
So,
But then Columbia was like, hey, remember that script that you pitched us a while back? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and buy it. Yeah. We kind of saw how well this did.
Yeah. And then it flopped.
And they were like,
damn.
We had our doubts and our doubts were right.
Yeah. But hey, the cast is amazing.
The cast is amazing. And the vibes. And it's just an overall such a good movie.
For sure.
So, I love it. It's such a good summer classic.
Yeah.
I love it.
Moving along with the episode a bit more, I think it's time to play a little Would You Rather? Yeah. So, this one's a bit basic, but again, we would love to hear what you guys would do. So, for this movie, would you rather turn yourself in along with your group of friends or go along with the rest of the year with the guilt knowing you were in a hit and run?
Oh,
go along with the rest of the year with the guilt.
I would shut the fuck up.
I would shut the fuck up.
I would take that shit to my grave.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, see, the thing that also pissed me off about Jennifer Love Hewitt's character, Julie, is whenever she talks to David's wife from at her house or whatever, and she tells her like, no, we did a hit and run and we killed him, and then I was like, shut the fuck up. I was like, some people don't know how to handle peer pressure. Or pressure at all.
Yeah.
See, the thing about me is I bury my trauma. So I'm shutting the fuck up.
100%. I'm shutting the fuck up. And
ain't no cop getting nothing from me.
You know what I never saw in this movie? A Glock.
That's true.
I never saw a Glock.
I know.
Because guess what? Number one, it's 2023. Number two, we live in Texas. So I I'm taking that shit to my grave. Number one.
Yeah.
Number two, let a man in a fish hook, whatever,
Bro,
try
I'm
to get to me
immediately.
Number one, I'll probably try to fuck. I'm just kidding.
but after that.
But after that, I'm pulling out my Glock and being like, stop threatening me. Stop harassing me. Stop trying to kill me.
I will kill you.
I will. Yeah.
I will go just as crazy.
100%.
This was the 70s.
Out crazy the crazy, like you always say.
Bro, you gotta out crazy the crazy.
Yeah.
See, you have to.
Because hypothetically speaking, what would he do if you came at him at full speed with no clothes on
And a Glock.
and a Glock?
He'd probably
run away.
He'd probably run away. I'm telling you. I don't think people understand of how effective it is to out crazy the crazy.
No, I want to write a movie. I want to write a movie about
that.
that.
I want to write a movie about out crazy the crazy. But
100%.
ultimately, point is, I'm shutting the hell up and I'm taking this to my grave.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I don't think I could survive in prison.
No.
I don't think I could do prison time.
Forget the fact that I wouldn't survive in prison. I just don't want to be in prison.
That's actually true.
You know what I mean?
I don't want to be there.
Yeah.
I'm already
in my own
some
prison.
people want to go to prison so that they can mentally check out because they're like free food, free stay, like you ain't got to worry about Nathan. And I'm like, that's true. As much as that sounds tempting.
Yeah.
I'd
rather just forget about it. Because guess what? I'm like Dory. And I forget everything.
I'm gonna forget, bro.
So honestly, I'll probably forget that I did a hit and run.
Bro, I forgot what I did this morning.
Same.
I don't know how I ended up at home.
Okay.
I don't remember what I did last night.
But you know what I do know?
I know
what you did last summer. Yes,
oh
ma'am.
my gosh. We need to write a movie.
We sure did.
We need to write a movie.
Sure do.
And it's going to get such a bad review. But then people are going to be like, it was a movie.
It was a movie. And that's all we want.
And that's all that we want. We
I
just
don't
want
care
the
if it was
title,
bad.
It was a movie.
It was a movie. Oh my God. That's our new
tagline.
movie name. It was a movie. And guess what? It was a movie.
Absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely.
All right.
Okay, anyway.
So yeah, long story short.
So we're shutting the hell up and we're taking it to our grave. But what would y'all do? Would y'all, would you do
Would y'all be good people?
Would you
good
be
Samaritans?
good people and good Samaritans and turn yourself in? Even if your friends were like, shut the fuck up. Because you're not going to be in my group. You're not going to get me down with you. I'm going to have alibis.
I'm going to have an ally. I'm going to have an ally.
So as much as I hated Barry in that scene of the hit and car, or like the hit and run scene of him being like such an asshole and like literally putting Julie in a chokehold.
Yeah. Which, no ma'am.
The man is so fine. The man is sexy.
I'm telling you, I feel like he would have bullied me in high school.
I'm telling you.
He would have bullied me in high school.
Oh, he would have bullied me.
He would have called me fat. He would have called me suicidal.
He would have called me a weirdo. He would have called me.
He would have called me a slur.
He would have called me a slur.
Enemies to lovers.
Enemies to lovers. It's a trope.
Yeah, we love this trope in horror movies.
The only other thing I needed from this movie is like Ryan Phillippe and Freddie Prinze Jr. to be a little gay.
100%.
But we rarely saw Freddie Prinze Jr. in this fucking movie.
Hey, write that down for our future movie, because for our future horror movie, we writing enemies to lovers, and they're gonna be men.
Enemies to lovers between the males and the females. There's the scene where Sarah Michelle Gellar and Jennifer Love Hewitt are in the car, and Michelle Gellar is like, "We used to be best friends. I miss you." And then she's like, "Yeah, well, you know."
Sure.
And then Gina was like,
"They would have fixed this. You know what they could have done to fix that? A little schmooch.
Yeah,
a little schmooch.
A little schmoochy." Yep, they could have fixed that easily.
100%.
Okay, so now that we're at pretty much the end of the episode, we're going to go ahead and rate this episode. It is a scary movie, so we are going to rate it with both our scales, satisfactory and scary. Just because the movie is good doesn't always mean it's scary, and vice versa. So, Jessica, what are you rating your movie?
So, for scary...
For this movie. Yeah.
Damn, that one came from my esophagus. Anyway.
You want to say your soul?
Yeah, it did come from my soul. So for scary, okay.
Scary.
You know, it wasn't, I mean, it had elements, it had moments where it was like, ooh, spooky.
I mean, I feel like I had more anxious feelings from this movie than I did, like, it's the chasing scenes. It's chasing. Chasing really fucks
being
me
chased,
up.
bro. That's why I love haunted houses, because I'm like, yes, chase me.
No.
Yes, bro.
Scary. Tengo miedo.
Oh my God. You gonna learn to love it.
No.
You gonna learn to love it. Yes, ma'am.
No.
Anyway, scary, I'm gonna give it like a 3.5 out of 4.
Okay.
Out of 10. 3.5, 4 out of 10.
That makes sense.
Because again, like, it wasn't
scary.
to me, a lot of slashers aren't like super scary.
No.
Obviously, like, there's moments where
I feel like out
a
of
few jump scares and stuff.
the more classic horror movies that are like classic horrors, the one that I find quote unquote the most frightening would be like Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah.
Texas Chainsaw is pretty fucking scary to me compared to like Scream, Michael Myers.
I mean, although to be fair, Terrifier is considered slasher.
Okay, but
Is
I'm
it?
talking like the ones that came out that have originals
Right.
that came out
Oh,
like in
yeah,
the
yeah,
80s and the 90s and like the super early 2000s.
Yeah.
Now,
Those
if we
don't really-
include in Terrifier, yes, Terrifier's pretty scary. But and I say this like again and again is that it's really hard for me to find something scary when I find it so entertaining and like comforting, which is why, you know, I'm not including Terrifier in this one just because I'm talking about like
Yeah. Older.
90s, early 2000s, 80s like slashers.
Satisfactory. So that's that for scary. Now for satisfactory, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Again, it's an like I will rewatch it. Don't get me wrong.
I love this movie.
It's not like those movies that I'm like, okay, one watch and I'm good for the rest of my life. No,
Yeah.
I will rewatch it because it's it's like a ritual at this point where my
Right.
sister and I watch it every summer.
Yeah.
So yeah, I genuinely thoroughly enjoyed the movie. Obviously, there were moments where I wanted to fucking strangle a lot of the
Everyone.
characters.
Yeah.
So yeah, an 8 out of 10.
You know the scene where they're on the boat, Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. and
Ben.
yes, Ben. And it's Freddie Prinze Jr., Ray, against Ben, and they're like fighting and they're on the edge of the boat. And then Julie's dumbass calls out Ben's name, so he turns around, and in that moment of not looking, he gets knocked off the boat. I'm like, why the fuck didn't you just shut the hell up?
So fucking
I was like, shut
stupid,
up.
bro. I'm
was like,
telling
bro,
you,
let
I
them
wanted
fight
to
it out.
strangle every single character in this movie. Like,
Oh my
my
god.
God.
Awful. Okay.
Anyway.
So, okay, 8 out of 10 for you. Understood. I see why. Yeah, my scary skill is more of like, yeah, also a 4, 5 out of 10. It was the anxious feelings that got me from chasing, like the chasing scenes. Not a lot of gore. You can tell a lot of it is fake, which kind of takes away from the element of horror and like scary. So it's not that scary to me. It's a lot more entertaining for me, if anything. And my entertainment satisfactory scale is more of a 9 out of 10. But I think I'm saying that with all biased feelings of like, I just enjoy the movie a lot. The same thing. I have to watch it at least every summer. I definitely love showing it to people who have never seen it before. Because I'm like, it's not that scary.
Right.
And it's a good one.
Well, I think this concludes this episode on I Know What You Did Last Summer. It looks like we are nearing the end. But again, as always, we had so much fun recording. And if today's episode intrigued you and you haven't watched this movie and you would like to, you can do so on Netflix until June 30th. So you have like a few
more
days
weeks.
to watch it. Yeah. Or you can purchase or rent it for $3.99 on Amazon Prime, YouTube, Redbox, Vudu, and Google Play Movies and TV. And thanks again, of course, to everyone tuning in and listening. We truly appreciate you all. And if you want to keep up with us, we will have our social media in the summary description.
Yeah, and I know we always say this, but we do sincerely appreciate all of your guys' support and for listening and tuning in and being with us. So with that being said, if you've enjoyed today's episode, please tune in to next week's episode where we continue our summer horror feels with Cabin in the Woods from 2011.
That is
The
a
last
movie.
time, this is a horror comedy.
Horror comedy.
This is a horror comedy, and the last time we did this one was like the beginning of season 1 when we did Shaun of the Dead.
Yes.
So it's been a minute.
It's been a minute since I think. I'm sure we've done other maybe horror.
Well, I guess Killer Clowns is technically considered a horror comedy. So,
Yeah.
but I'm talking like that's intentional.
Right.
Well, I guess it was intentional. Whatever. Point is Cabin in the Woods is such a good one. And if you have never seen Cabin in the Woods, highly suggest you do because it follows the rules that Randy like explains in Scream. And if you're a Scream fan, I think you would appreciate this movie because it kind of goes into depth of all of that, and it's so funny. Yeah. This movie's really good.
Before we end it, Monica, I have a very important question to ask you.
Yes.
Do you think this week's movie was a movie?
It was a movie.
It was a movie.
Yeah,
was
you know what I mean?
Was it a movie?
No.
No. Was it It was a movie.
A movie.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like a little emphasis on the A.
Okay.
And then it's like, it was a movie.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a little, it was a movie.
Yeah, it was a movie. Well, great.
Yeah. And we're going to have to see about maybe next week. But this week's movie, it was a movie.
Okay.
It was a summer movie.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the summer vibes.
Well, there you have it. Thanks again, guys. We will talk to y'all next week. And as always, we've been your hosts, Jessica.
And Monica.
Stay safe and stay spooky.
Oof. That was scary. I can't wait to come back next week.